This is Dr. Gigi Sabat, and you're listening to the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Raju. Welcome to the show, Raju.
Thank you, Dr. Gigi. Great to be here. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm ready for whatever.
He does. God always knows.
Right? Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir. Now, Raju, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit more about you and where are you from?
So I'm in Dallas right now. That's where I live. Where I'm from, long story. We'll leave it for another day. Came to US long time ago, 30 plus years ago. IT career mainly, but now into essentially businesses. I do provide services for small businesses. That's still my side, gig. And I also are looking to acquire businesses. But then my passion is personal development, spirituality, so on and so forth, health. And I do a podcast called Mind Shift to Health and Wealth.
I love it. Tell us a little bit more about your podcast, Mind Shift.
So basically, one of the, if you ever, people have heard about Wayne Dyer, one of the things is, one of my favorite quotes by him is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So mind shift is about shifting your mind from whatever you thought was the truth to a different way of thinking. So exposing people to different things, whether it's health, spirituality, business, so on and so forth, or even relationships, right? Like recently I had an imago therapist. If people know about imago, it's basically Dr. Harville Hendricks, who wrote How to Get the Love You Want. He created this imago therapist and actually helped someone, my family, read that book, change their entire relationship, right? So I think it's very effective. So anyway, the point is I kind of try to bring people from different aspects, whatever I read, find out something, maybe find those people, or meet someone like you and like, hey, they had an incredible journey, say their story, and maybe that'll inspire someone else. My goal is at least one person, right? I don't care about thousands of people, whatever. Like one person makes a difference for one person or one viewpoint for one person. That's my goal there. So
I love
that's
it.
yeah. So anyway,
I'm super excited to be a guest on your show as well, and very powerful, Mind Shift. Now, Raju, tell us a little bit more about some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in your life.
I mean, I don't like to, like, what I've learned is there's no challenge. It's a lesson to be learned, right? There was a time when I used to think challenges or difficulties or why me and all that. Like, for example, went through divorce and that's kind of shifted my whole thing on where I am now. And maybe at one point I thought, oh, wow, man, damn, I thought this was going to be a lifetime thing. What happened? Like, I'm no longer married and I spent all this time. But then I realized, no, it's a lesson. It's something needed to be taught to me. So in that sense, I don't see a long term, like when I look back, like, oh, everything happened for a reason. It was great. Is there challenges? Always. Every day is I guess, is a challenge, right? If you feel that way, then it's going to be a challenge. If you look at it like, oh, what is this teaching me? Then it's not a challenge. So in that sense, like, there's no particular thing that I would say has been a big challenge. I guess maybe I challenge myself every day to improve. Maybe that from today to next day, tomorrow, what can I be better from this day to tomorrow? So sometimes you'll suffer setbacks. You think you're there, and then all of a sudden, boom, you drop, and then universe, God, whatever you believe in, teaches you like, no, just don't get too overconfident about yourself. You just be aware, be humble, that no matter where you go, you still have a lot to learn. So anyway, that's, I guess, the challenge, right? Being humble.
I love it. And it reminds me of lyrics from a song, Good in Love. There will be times when you're up and there will be times when you're down. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Raju. I appreciate with you as far as the challenges go. Now, you mentioned a little bit about divorce. Tell us a little bit more about what happened and what it's like to be on the other side of divorce, and what message do you have for an individual who's going through something similar in regards to divorce?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I don't want to bring the other person in. She's a great person. We are good together. Good, I guess, friends now. It's just incompatibility, right? We both had different viewpoints, and it was never a good fit. So the only thing is like, I'm Indian, so one of the things we go to Indian community is like, or at least in certain sects of Indian community, marriage is almost, or a divorce is considered no. You cannot get divorced because it's not just you and your family or your mom and dad. No, it's like freaking 10 different cousins, 10 different uncles and aunts. Everybody knows, everybody is involved, so on and so forth. So the difficulty there was essentially being the person to say no. This is no longer going to work. We're hurting ourselves. I mean, I'm talking about her and me. We're hurting ourselves. We're not compatible anymore. We do not believe in the same things, and we're thereby affecting the kids. So that was the, number one thing is really I hated what I was becoming. I was all mostly patient guy, but then if you trigger me, obviously, yeah, I can be a nice guy, but then yeah, if you trigger me, if you cross me, then I'll go. I don't hold back at that point. So that's where I was being more of, and only with one person, right? Which is very toxic for her and me, essentially. So that was where I made a decision, like, now this I'm becoming somebody I hate. So I had to shift that, put my foot down, because she was, her point of view was we could still settle. But I just realized, no, I've been trying to settle for 15, 16 years. It's not going to work. It's what it is. I'm just lying to myself, essentially. She obviously was trying to figure out how to stay together and all that. So it wasn't her fault. So anyway, bottom line, I had to go essentially tell both her parents and my parents about this, because I had to take it up. Basically, being the guy, put the foot down and let them know. So anyway, that kind of transitioned me into thinking about businesses and all that. Long story short, through businesses, when I kind of my whole, I guess, outset mindset journey changed, because I read Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's. By the way, people, just FYI, The Law of Success is a better book than Think and Grow Rich. 1925 original edition. Amazing book. But anyway, that kind of changed my whole trajectory into thinking. Then I went back into meditation. I used to do meditation a long time ago when I was 14, 15. Got pretty good at it, in the sense, like, if I had a pain, I could like meditate and let the pain go away. I mean, I'm not talking about broken foot or something, but like a stomach ache or headache or something like that. But anyway, so I got back into it. And then Wayne Dyer is the one, I'm going long here, but Wayne Dyer is the one who changed my mind about whole universe, God, whatever you want to call. I'm more spiritual. I don't attach to any religion. I've read the Bible. I can't say I'm an expert in it, but I know enough about it. Obviously, I'm born Hindu, but although Hindu is very narrow term, it's really Sanatana Dharma, which means old order. So there's technically no kind of religion. It's more of a belief system. But anyway, I got back onto it because Wayne Dyer said something that triggered me, saying everything is God. And then I got into quantum physics. And then there is a lot of science now that people can go into. I can go into a rabbit hole there. So I'm going to avoid doing that. But basically showing that everything is one, all is one, one is all. So that means you are part of God, and God, essentially, God, universe, whatever you want to think about, is everywhere within us, plants, and everything. Once I started looking at that quantum theory, how whatever you believe in becomes true, essentially, because that's how quantum theory physics works. Hence, here, that's how I ended up, going deep into it. So I study everything I can get my hands on. Essentially, that's obviously is logical, makes sense. Obviously, spiritually, logic in the sense, I mean, nothing is real if you truly go. It's what you see, what you want to believe. So I'll pause there. I'll let you ask any questions now.
Very powerful statements. And also, The Think and Grow Rich, it's a very great book. Very great book.
Mhm.
Now, you talked about divorce. I want to circle back for a moment here. What message do you have for an individual who may feel stuck today and they may be ready to give up even after the divorce?
Well, it's a matter of like, here's the thing, right? There's a multiple things. I would say there's a guy called Peter Crone. If anybody's not familiar, I would highly recommend listening to him, following him, and everything. So one of the things he says is, wherever you go, there you are. It's one of the great. I mean, it's a simple statement, but really. So that's one, right? Where if you're feeling that that you can never find anything, that means you have to look at yourself, look inward, see what is it within me that is either finding unhappiness or looking for somebody to make us happy. And then number one thing is that will go into the journey of loving yourself. Once you love yourself, then you don't need anyone. It would be nice to have someone, enhance that. So that's the number one. So when people want, like, they can't find anything else, then they're basically one of the things people get stuck in is the scarcity mindset. There's this one soulmate out there for everybody. No, that's not true. There's not like a one soulmate. Yeah, maybe you find a perfect person at the perfect time at that time. But if you're an evolving person, maybe that person, if that person is not changing, well, everybody changes. The question is, are they changing with you? So bottom line is, divorce or not, if you're with the person or not with another person, the fact is we're always changing. If you're not changing with them or changing by yourself to find the right person, because who we are being is what we attracts us. Like if I'm kind of currently single, I don't go like thinking, there's times when I think, oh, I kind of find somebody, because I'm at a state where I am that it's like once the person, whoever in that state comes along, maybe that's when that'll be a match. If not, it's, hey, you're fine by yourself, right? Doesn't mean that sometimes you don't feel it. So bottom line, for any divorced or separated and all, I would say the biggest thing is they should do is essentially first learn to love yourself and feel complete by yourself before you go seek someone else, right? Because someone else is not going to complete you. That's absolutely nonsense to think that anybody else is going to complete us. You are whole and complete. Bottom line.
Amen. Love yourself. Very powerful. Now, Raju, do you have any last words for the audience?
Um, all I can say is never think. I mean, only again, same thing. I'll go back to Peter Crohn's. One is, wherever you go, there you are. That means concentrate on yourself, not about others. Somebody's upsetting you, maybe look into yourself. Why is that thing upsetting you? Doesn't mean being upset, angry is wrong. Accept that emotion, but then look at it. And lastly, another thing is, one of the things, again, another favorite quote of Peter Crone is, life presents you with situations to show you where you're not comfortable or complete. So whenever you feel uncomfortable, whenever you feel hungry, angry, or somebody triggers you, hey, that's something to look at yourself. So all I can say is, hey, always you're in control. There's always between a trigger and an emotion, or a stimulus and an reaction. There's always a delta. And if you can get there and not react immediately, then you can accomplish a lot, which I'm still working on it. So
Progression, not perfection, right? I love
right.
it. Love it. Raju, thank you so much for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast. Now, where can the audience find you?
The best way is probably my website, mindshift.hw.com. And then obviously I have a YouTube channel, Mindshift to Health and Wealth. I don't know if there are multiple, YouTube channels, but yeah, probably easiest is mindshift.hw.com. That's the easiest way. It's one website. So people can watch the other episodes. I get into whole gamut of even the health series, where how you can get your optimal health and all that stuff. So anybody interested in listening to that.
Thank you, Raju. And thank you for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Raju on all of his social media platforms and also his website. And Raju, thank you so much for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gigi. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.